Very excited to be talking to Mr. James Marsden. Good morning, James. How are you?
I'm doing well. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. You got a new movie coming out this weekend, and it's one that I've had a lot of fun talking about. Cats and Dogs: The Revenge of Kitty Galore. We gotta talk a little bit about this. Who are you in Cats and Dogs?
I'm the voice of the German Shepherd, who is the sort of. He's the rookie hotshot that comes into the forest to ignore team orders and all that. So he's got a lot to learn about being a team player. But essentially, in this movie, cats and dogs have to work together to thwart the villain played by Bette Midler, who plays a hairless cat in the movie. But really, the concept is that when we're not looking, our pets take on these very sophisticated missions to save the world while we're out grocery shopping.
Yeah, there's like this whole seedy underworld of pets.
Right. Yes. The whole underground underworld with the whole James Bond Mission Impossible thing, but with cats and dogs, essentially.
Very cool. It looks like
that didn't really speak for itself. I know,
Yeah, exactly. There are cats and dogs in this movie. It looks obviously like a movie that kids will enjoy. What do you think for adults? I mean, you think it's something that they'll enjoy too? Is there some adult humor in there?
Well, I have two kids myself, so I can vouch for adults going to see kids movies and you wanting to see that. Movies nowadays, if they're kids' movies, usually they will put enough in there to entertain the parents as well. And I think this is a perfect example of it. There's a whole Silence of the Lambs reference and a whole scene that's a play on that I think the kids are just going to either be disturbed by and just totally not get, but the parents will have a chuckle.
Yeah,
there's plenty. It's like there's enough spectacle for the kids and enough of the clever dialogue and plot for the parents. So it's nice that they're doing it these days because there's nothing like sitting through a kids movie that's just
Yeah, exactly.
You wouldn't watch 2 hours of Barney.
Where your kids are going like, that was so good, yeah, and you're thinking like, I just want to. I don't know if I even want to be a father anymore. Like, this is horrible.
Yeah, I mean, that's why. Yeah, I mean, I'm glad like there's movies like Toy Story and all the Dreamworks movies and all those where they actually they're very clever writing and jokes that land on adults that kids don't necessarily get. But yeah, so this is a movie that everybody can enjoy, and it's very fun. It's clever. It's a mix of live action and CGI. So they actually filmed real dogs and real cats. That were trained, obviously, and then we lent our voices to their mouths, which then became animated. It's a whole process.
That's cool. What do you think of the process? I mean, you've done a lot of varied works. You've done some superhero stuff. You've done some chick flicky type romantic stuff. You've done comedy, serious. Like, what's it like to get behind the microphone? And do you work with the other actors? Sometimes they have other actors in there. Sometimes it's solo. What do you think of that whole experience?
Yeah, no, it's a very unique experience in that one of the cool things about it is that you get to roll out of bed, throw on a baseball cap, and not worry about how you look. You just show up, and you're there in a sound studio with a microphone in front of you. On the other hand, I didn't meet any of the other actors until the press junket last week. So you go in and you have, let's say, 100 lines throughout the whole script. Well, each line is numbered, and they say, okay, we're queued up for line number 1, and you deliver that line, hey guys, you say hey guys maybe 20 different times, 20 different ways, and then when they feel like they've got the right performance, then they move on to the next line. So it's a very a la carte approach to acting. And very isolating and detached, but ultimately you just hope that it all comes together and works.
So it's more of like a fun thing than something that an actor would say, I'm done doing the rest of those movies. I only want to do this type of film.
Right. Well, I mean, unless. Yeah, no, I mean, it's a great gig because, you don't, again, you don't have to worry about waiting on lighting setups or, other actors or getting in hair and makeup and wardrobe and all that. You just get to show up. And on the other hand, it's a challenge because, you're so used to using your body language or facial expressions to convey emotion, whereas with this, you just have that one instrument, which is your voice, to give, that's your whole performance is the voice. But no, I don't see people giving up, normal film or television roles just to do voiceover work. Although it is a great gig because you get to go in for a couple of days and then you're done.
Exactly. It's like we all have those little things that, you know, that are part of our job where it's like the easiest money you get to make, and it's like it's fun and easy. It's like, yeah, you don't want to give up the rest of the stuff that's like the meaty stuff that you really get into, but it's nice to have.
That's the one thing I missed in this experience. I mean, the movie works, you know, but you do, as an actor, I mean, it's why people go do plays and do musicals or do stages, because you get to control your performance, and you get to feel the rhythm of the scene, and you get to, and the rhythm of the night. you get to play off your counterparts and your co-stars. And whereas with this, it's a very technical approach.
And speaking of co-stars, you're either like you've got some movies in production that are going to come out here soon with some big stars. Do you want to talk about any of your upcoming projects?
Well, yeah, I just did. I actually just wrapped a movie with Russell Brand called Hop, and it's actually another mix of live action and CGI, and it was a trip working with him in the sound studio. And then before that, I did a full-on, normal feature film, a remake of Dustin Hoffman's Straw Dogs from the 70s, a Sam Peckinpah movie. So genre-wise, I'm sort of jumping all over the place.
Yeah, that's cool. And then you've got what about? Are you doing Enchanted 2? Is that confirmed, or is that a potential thing?
I don't believe it's confirmed. If it's confirmed, I don't know about it. But the actors sometimes are the last people to know. So I'd be lying if I told you I knew what was going on with that. I'd love to do it, be a part of it. I hear they're writing a script, and I know the other actors, as far as I know, are excited about doing it. Cool. So hopefully that's something that comes together.
And what about the movie Nailed? I saw something about that on the internet. You and Jessica Biel, Jake Gyllenhaal, James Brolin, Tracy Morgan, just like kind of who's who of awesome people.
Yeah, Catherine Keener. It was a great, huge cast. Sadly, that movie suffered from some financial issues. But so we still actually, very funny, we have one scene left to shoot, and we had to pull the plug on the production before we shot that scene, and it's a scene that makes the whole movie work. So eventually, hopefully, we'll get around to shooting that scene so we can see that movie.
Or some cheap distributor will buy all the footage and then shoot it with different actors and just tack that on the end of it and sell it as a DVD.
I mean, at this point, might as well.
Exactly. Are you surprised with your career, or is this how you kind of saw it? Did you think when you got in, like, I'm going to be a big star?
No, well, I mean, yeah, when I was young, I thought that, but I didn't really think it was going to happen. That's just the attitude I took, so that I was confident enough to give the performances. But realistically, I never thought it would get to where it is now. And every job, I think, it's the neurosis of being an actor. You think every job is your last job. I don't care how big of a star you are. You always think, oh, this is it. They're going to discover that I'm a fake, a fraud. I'm done. But that's just part of being an actor, and I'm super surprised that it's been going on as long as it has, and I've been able to do as much work as I have. So I'm pretty pleased and feel really lucky.
And one of the nice things about your gig, though, too, is like even if somebody does say, you know what, this James Marsden guy, he's not a really good actor. What were we thinking? Like you still got your looks. Like they could even just put you in the background of a movie, and the ladies will still go see it just to see you as like, is that guy behind the counter? Is that James Marsden? Oh my god!
Right.
So you're set.
Well, they gotta always have that to fall back on. But no, I mean it was certainly something that helps early on. Get you into certain roles. But then it was like you obviously you always want the work to speak for itself. But, but hey, it's at also some point I have 2 kids, a family. It's like you want to. It's your livelihood too. It's your job. It's you want to work, and if you're lucky, you get to do the kind of projects and the roles that you feel like you can contribute to creatively and you're inspired by. At the end of the day, but beyond that, you have a mortgage you got to pay, and it's a job,
Excellent. Well, hey, the movie looks good. You've got kids.
I totally demystified the whole Hollywood thing for you now, didn't I?
You ruined it. It's like I'm beaten up about the whole thing. But Cats and Dogs, The Revenge of Kitty Galore, in theaters now. James Marsden, as a parent, recommending it. So take the whole family out and check it out. And James Marsden, it was great talking to you, man. Thanks for doing it.
Good talking to you, too. Thanks a lot.
Bye-bye.
The Big J Show. Weekday mornings from 6 till 10 on Billings' #1 hit music station, Hot 101.9.